What's up, everyone? How's my audio doing? Okay, good, good. I'm using a little earbud kind of thing rather than the microphone on the phone because a lot of times when it talks, people you get the feedback from other people's voices. So, yeah. Spontaneous. John Boston, I was not at a convention. It was about 20 YouTubers, and we all flew into Vegas to kind of chill, meet each other, break bread, have some good fellowship. But it was not a convention. It was actually just a time of socializing, eating steaks, smoking cigars, hanging out, listening to each other's stories. It's good. So, yeah. Daniel Leslie, yeah, the beard is it's not bad this time around. Went to Boston today, picked up fishing gear, 4-hour ride from Poughkeepsie, New York. Yeah, cool. Anthony Riggs, Scott SWB. It's moving fast. Josh Ricks, Kelly B, Macker 007, LP is with us, Texas Red, Rob Flores, Shepard, Wide World West, Chris DeLong. Who else? Carl is here from London. Good to see you. Jake, always good to see you, hear from you. Who else? Yeah. Zero agenda tonight. No agenda whatsoever. After that weekend in Vegas, have your subs dramatically increased? No, actually, YouTube has locked me. Believe it or not, YouTube locked me, um, which is the precursor to something else. Most likely getting blocked or something. I don't know. So, Luis, good to see you. Bill, exercise routine. I walk, I lift weights, and I do body weight exercises, and I eat well. Yeah. Shepard, what's my favorite kind of cigar? Uh, I try different cigars all the time. I probably have about 20 Arturo Fuentes in the humidor and a bunch of others, but I try everything, everything. But I don't smoke cigars often. Yeah. Let's see. Keenan said, I thought you got rid of the beard due to it. No good for pulling women, only men like the beards. Let's see. Yeah, the big beard. Big beards get you respect, but they don't get you dates. Let me just put it that way. So, yeah, that's a fact. This kind of beard, women like it. Shorter, they like it. Big, long beard down to your belly. Uh-uh. Walk twice as far, eat half as much. Absolutely. I have a bunch of sayings like that. Like when you're doing a project at work, it always takes twice as long and costs 3 times as much. Ah, you grew your beard. First time in 30 years. Michael, awesome. That's pretty cool. Daniel Leslie, thank you for the super chat. Great stuff. I was banned off of Twitter and Instagram. So you're not going to find me on Twitter. You're going to find me on Instagram. I got banned, suspended, banned. Yep. Brazil, Australia. Dante Watts, 22 from Nogales, Arizona. Forever thankful for the guidance and alpha wisdom. Hoping one day to meet you. Wish you the best and stay safe. Thank you, sir. I wish you the best, and I wish safety for you. Favorite pipe tobacco? Haunted Bookshop and Daybreak. I'm on Gab, which will not ban me, and it seems like the owner of Gab seems to like me. He has regabbed. I don't want to say retweeted, but he has regabbed me many times. More travel plans in the next little while? Nope, no travel plans. Probably going to do Arizona and Vegas again in another month or two. Most likely. Texas Red, yes, for speaking truth. Yep. Doug from Lincoln, California. Need your own website? Yeah, I need to be able to go live on a platform that doesn't hate me. Twitter was not a big fan of mine. Neither is Instagram. Last time I checked, I couldn't log on to Instagram. They don't tell you that they're banning you. They just pretty much, you just try to open up Instagram and they, then it says, will not load or something, that try back later, but I already know. Did I get my COVID vaccine? No, I won't get a COVID vaccine. I don't get any vaccines. Still doing carnivore? If not, what's your diet? Jake, I do what I call is mostly meat, like a keto, high protein, high fat, low carb, low to no carb. Yep. Richmond, Virginia is in the house. Yeah, free speech issue. Yeah. Daniel Leslie, nice super chat. Thank you, sir. Windsor, Canada. Oh, thanks. Any advice for delinquent youths in the system? And I've worked with many over the years. Find a good male role model. You have to do that. They have to do that. Maybe one of the reasons why youth are in the system is because they didn't have a good male role model. Austin, Texas, that's Athena. Hey, Athena, how are you? Good to see you. Paul the Piper's with us. That's good. Excellent. Would I recommend biotin for beard growth? Biotin is good for hair, skin, and nails. Yeah. Paquin Lewis, hello. Good to see you. What's the difference between a 673 KS and a 320 KS? I have them here. This is a 673. I don't know if you can see that. KS. I call it the Savinelli. And the 320. Oh boy, I have it here somewhere. And it's got to be under something right now. I usually have it here, but it's a big dog and I love it. Absolutely love it. Collagen is better than biotin. Yeah, and if you can have both, that's fantastic. I like eating bone marrow and bone broth for hair and beard growth. Yeah. Wolf's Lair. I did not go to barber schools. I did an apprenticeship, but I have taught in many barber and beauty academies. Cameron says, I'm soliciting advice on choosing a barber. Pricey hipster types seem to dominate the market. How can I find a traditional no-nonsense place for a haircut and beard trim? Usually if it's an Italian named shop, you'll do fine. Find an old Italian barber. You will do great. And you won't, there's something for every budget that's out there. Yeah. Fun to watch on the YMTC. Yes, it's the YouTube men's community. The YTMC. Yeah. Is pipe smoking less dangerous than others? It is for me because I don't inhale anything. I don't inhale, so I just puff. In your opinion, as a first pipe in the author's shape, let's see, would you suggest a 320? For first pipe, go with a 673. Yeah, 673 KS. Definitely. Yeah, Jake, when you start doing it, go lightly. Uh, if you have an addictive personality, don't do it. But people don't smoke pipes um, for nicotine. Orlando, Shane is in Orlando. Thank you, sir. Cow foot soup. Wow, that's a trip. How are you, Mr. George? Advising on a plastic comb for the neighborhood and your beard is beautiful. Uh, a good comb would be a YS Park quick cutting comb. Yeah. Yeah, I've never had a vaccination in my life and I'm healthy. So, yeah. Daniel Leslie. Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. That's cool. That's very cool. Let's see. Is this a new room? The Diego Rivera. Anthony, no, this is still the Van Gogh room. Lots of Van Gogh prints all over the room. And of course, the rooster up there. Smoke a pipe? Well, pipes are the original laser pointer. As you heard me say, I had a professor once in college. I went to college back in the day when you could smoke in the classroom and in the lecture hall. The professor always had a pipe and he would write stuff on the chalkboard. Believe it or not, I came from the days of chalkboards. They weren't like whiteboards or anything like that. And he would point. He'd write something on the board, then he'd point to it with his pipe. Not being vaccinated is extremely dangerous. Dr. Leo, that's false. Don't spread false bullshit here, or you will be blocked. I will not tell you again. I'm in my 60s and I've never had a vaccination and I can kick your ass. I'm twice as strong and twice as fast as you, so stop it. Amrit, good to see you. Mr. Tolson, good to see you. She snapped off the stem. I hate when that happens. How can you soften the beard? Coconut oil. Put coconut oil on and then wash it off in the shower. Mark, thank you, sir. Jake, do I own stocks or crypto? Yes, I have stocks through a pension plan with my job, and I have a good, respectable amount in crypto, and it's doing well. Nicholas is with us. Do I smoke in my truck? It's funny that you asked that because I was talking to Texas Dom yesterday, and I will smoke a pipe in my truck, but I have an ionizer. Hold on one second. I'm inviting a friend on. And he just got a brand new truck, but his wife also, rides in the truck with him, and he wants to keep it not smelling like anything. So I totally respect his opinion in that. Right now, um, I don't I don't have a wife, so I can fire up in my truck anytime I want. So it's kind of cool. Dr. Leo, I'm going to have to say goodbye to you, my friend. I'm going to have to say goodbye because we don't talk about fear here. And let me educate you. If you want to live in fear, you go right ahead. I'm healthy and I'm strong and I have a positive attitude. And my vaccination is zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D, and a good diet. So take care, my friend. Go get that vaccination. See ya. Lamb or pork for Easter? Good question. I don't know. I am spending the weekend by myself, and that's a good question. I haven't even thought of it. So I'll be spending the weekend by myself. But now that you mentioned lamb, because I have pork often, pork sounds like a great idea. Yeah. Thanks for the suggestion. Definitely. Amish life sounds pretty good. Yeah, definitely. What do I think about Bitcoin? Well, I made a lot of money on Bitcoin and I reinvested. Let me tell you about crypto. Let me just give you my take on crypto. I'm not an expert, okay? I'm just a home study kind of guy. Crypto investing, my opinion, only your mileage may vary. It's like gambling. Never gamble anything you can't afford to lose. That's number one. And never gamble or invest money that you're going to need in the next 12 months. Like, don't put mortgage money, rent money, car payment money, any money designated for bills. Do not invest with that. Many investments are like just giant casinos. Wall Street, stocks are like a casino. Yeah. So be careful. Yeah, that ionizer works great. You remember that? God, I did that a while ago, didn't I? Right. You bought crypto back when it was like $100. Wow, that's incredible. Mr. Finn, good to see you. Hold on. I invited some friends on tonight, and I don't know if they're going to make it or not because I'm gonna start uh, posting the link. Do I still walk in the woods with a pipe? I do. I do. And will I be making any more videos dressed in a top hat or a fedora? I'm not sure about that. A lot of that stuff is completely spontaneous. This is what I mean, a lot of people will say skim 20% off of your profits every month. And, you know, I mean, what I did was I just like put 10 grand in crypto, divided it up between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I just sat back and I'm watching it go down, watching it go up. So it's just going to just relax and I'm not going to stare at it. You heard me tell that story that I got a Fitbit and I was tracking my sleep, not just tracking like when I go to bed and when I wake up, but like all the stages of sleep. When I tossed and turned, when I got up to go pee, and then, it just like told me everything. And there's a condition called orthosomnia where you are obsessed with your sleep and checking your sleep tracking and all that stuff. I actually gave away the Fitbit. I actually gave it away to somebody because I do all my steps tracking with my phone, and my phone tracks my sleep, but it doesn't track all the different stages of sleep during the 7 to 9 hours. Because I was waking up in the morning and then looking at the graph of what my sleep was like, and it was creating anxiety in me. And then I go to bed at night anxious, like hoping that I was going to get a good night's sleep or a better night's sleep than I did the day before. And that bothered me. It bothered me that I became obsessive about it and it created anxiety in me. As soon as I stopped doing it, my sleep was great. So crypto is the same way. If you focus on it too much, I don't know if there's a I don't know if there's a word for it. Let's make up a word. Help me make up a word for when you get obsessed with your crypto. Like ortho ortho cryptophobia or something like that. I don't know. And uh, I found myself checking it like a bazillion times a day, and it was just too much. Just way too much. Yeah. Yeah. James says I'd say that when we become obsessed with our health to the point, cryptoholic, cryptomania. Yeah, great. Those are good words. I like that. I like that. Hold on a second. Someone just texted me. I'm going to see if they're going to join us or not. I think that is so funny. Orthocryptophilia. That yeah, that's of the love of straightening out your financial crypto. Yeah. Rock Rider, yes. Check me out for a beard trim. Daniel says, do you think in the future the world currency will be Bitcoin? No, I think there's going to be. I think that got us used to non-fiat currency, and I think there's a lot of other things coming up. So, but it is kind of a great lesson for everybody. And cryptocurrency in the future is a huge student of Bitcoin. Jake, day trades, yeah. Any big mistakes you made after marital separation would you share? Did you ever hear me say uh, when you get divorced? Remember, you've heard me say this 1,000 times. Don't work to get her back. Work to get you back. You know. And I spent a lot of time trying to restore things. We're talking. This is like a couple decades ago. So, what would I do differently now? If somebody wants to go, bye bye, bye bye. Relationships are a voluntary thing. There's nothing you're going to do to win anyone over. Just ain't going to happen. Greetings from Mexico. Nice to see you. Drew is with us. Yeah, a lot of Steve Goodman says a lot of healing and getting 7 hours of sleep a night. I get 8 hours. Now it's about 7:30 my time, and I will be going to bed. I don't know. I'm guessing like because I don't have to get up really early tomorrow. I'm at the salon tomorrow, like doing kind of like a barbering day. So I don't have to get up as early as I usually do, like 4 o'clock. Believe it or not, you know what time I got up this morning? 2:30. I went to bed super early, but I got up at 2:30. It's crazy. Yeah. We won't be able to sell without the vaccine passport. I know. That's concerning. It's sounding more and more like a little Mark of the Beastish, isn't it? Good evening from Southwest Florida. Make America sweet again. Yeah, man. Let's see. Not to stir anything up, I read an article online where there is supposed to be one world government coming, one world money. Your thoughts? It seems like it's moving in that direction, Daniel. Yeah. Yep. Yes. My mother would put butter in hot milk before I slept. Yep. It's beautiful. Do I ever mix weed with my tobacco? No, I don't, because I don't inhale. That's why. I don't. I don't inhale. Barefoot Bombshell, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining tonight. William McCullough, blessed from Virginia. That's awesome. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know if it's Mark of the Beast, but it sure kind of feels like it, doesn't it? So I don't know. I'm not exactly an expert on Revelation and the end times and all that stuff, but I have my suspicions like everyone else. Terry, good to see you. Terry in Alabama. Alabama, right? Oh, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. What are my thoughts on Zippo lighters due to the taste of fuel? You know what? I never sensed fuel taste in my pipe from a Zippo. I never did. Could be wrong. You know, remember I used to light my pipes with these cedar splits. You remember that? I think I have some here. It's like these sticks of cedar. The smell is insane, man. Oh my God. They're called dark fire cedar spills, like this. And you light cigars with it, but what it is, it's like um, it's from a cedar plank, and they plane it, and the curly part that comes out of the plane is this right here. This. And you light one end, and then you light your cigar or pipe with this. Yeah. Yep. It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I won't be getting a vaccine. Like I said, I'm in my 60s. I'm perfectly healthy. I've lived a good, long, strong life. There is no vaccine for me. That's just, you might have a different opinion, and I don't judge you for it. Um, I'm the one who gets judged for not wanting one, but I won't judge anyone for getting one. So, yeah. I've had, oh my God, I don't even know how many motorcycles I've had in my lifetime. I have a friend who might be joining us tonight who's had, I don't know, 60, 70 motorcycles. And that's a conservative figure. I'm hoping he's going to join us. But I've had motorcycles and scooters, love them all. Right now, I'm looking for kind of like a Road King or something to that effect. I don't know what Honda's version, like an Ace Tourer, like a bagger kind of thing. Something like heavy, big, can ride two up all day, that kind of thing. I want to do motorcycle camping this summer. So, Chavez, good to see you. Jebediah, good to see you. Amrit says, why do motorcycles attract women? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Terry can answer that. We have some women on here tonight. Chavez, was I into boxing? Yes. I had boxing gloves on a lot and boxed with neighbor boys. And we fought and we beat the crap out of each other all through my teenage years. Yep. Did a lot of boxing. Not at any competitive level. It was like neighborhood stuff. Yeah. Rick Myers. Um, yeah, Rick Myers, man. It's a cruel world out there, man, when it comes to that kind of stuff. So uh, keep your head down. Get through the divorce as fast as you can. You all know my slogan of date long, marry slow, and if you're going to get divorced, divorce fast. Yep. Jebediah. I didn't see anything. I have these things coming in a mile a minute. I have no idea. No idea. What's my thoughts on Harley Davidson Road King versus an Indian? I think they're both good bikes. Yeah, I think they're both good bikes. Yep. Dark side of the force. You need to stop being a sensitive little pussy. I won't tell you again. Thank you. Load of pipe. It's awesome. Dio, you talk about spirituality sometimes. Have I read the Bible cover to cover? Yes, many times. Yep. Yep. Terry, who is a female from Alabama, says motorcycle appeal to women for many reasons. Some want the bad boys. Some love the vibration between the thighs. Never, ever can we be accused of not keeping it real here on this channel. So Terry tells the truth. I never knew that. Like, because to me, it just like I like being in the open air and I like speed, but those other things, okay, that's cool. That's very cool. Yep. Domestic diva. Motorcycles are sexy, especially Harley Davidson. Okay. John Boston. George, did you box with your brothers and who would win? I won 100% of the time with my brothers. 100%. 100% of the time. You got to realize I'm kind of like the giant in my at 5'11". I'm the biggest guy in my family. My whole family. I come from like a bunch of short, like Italian guys. Like all the guys in my family are like shorter. And what are my thoughts? How do you say that? Doge? I have no idea. Even Eric, I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know how to say it. And I'll probably sound stupid if I try to pronounce it. But what is the last thing you can say to your dying sister that will suffice, Chris? That you love her. You love her. And ask her for your blessing. For her blessing on your life before she goes. And her words will be very, very dear to you. Amrit, I am in the Philadelphia area for beer trim. Alex hates. Yeah. Excellent. Where should I move in the United States for success? Florida. It's the freest state. The Barefoot Bombshell says, I think a man with a motorcycle symbolizes freedom. He seems like a man who paves his own way, which some women like because they think they can tame the guy, and a lot won't admit this. Yeah. Wow. I like that. Maintain frame. Do you advise a man to relocate to an area where he doesn't know anyone? Absolutely. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? That forces you to kind of step it up a little bit. You will survive. Anyone here a fan of Alex Becker? You ever watch his videos? He talks about just packing up and going somewhere, just moving somewhere where you don't know anyone. Brilliant concept. I love it. I've done that in my past. I have done that. It's wonderful. Florida's cool. Jebediah, Florida is cool. It's the freest state. I like Texas. All my friends who live in Florida and Texas absolutely love it. Tennessee, I have friends in Tennessee. I love that. Yep. Yep. Anthony Velasquez says moto camping. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I probably one of the things I want to do if I get the Road King or Ace Tour or something like that, I will probably do moto camping videos and solo moto camping videos. Yep. Yep. Tim Huffman says the Sultan is a man of wisdom. Just listen, then extrapolate, take action, make it happen. Absolutely. That's how you get unstuck, man. Murray Craig says, what was your motivation today? I was motivated when I recorded today's Rise and Shine video. So that was a direct result of my motivation. Yeah. Chavez, I should buy an RV. I would love to buy an RV. But the only thing I don't like about RVs is like if you go somewhere and like you just need to run to the store, unless you have a scooter or something like that on the back of it, then you got to take the RV, you know? So I like the idea of having like an Airstream or something like that, and then still having my vehicle. Amrit, get your motorcycle license. Man, you'll love it. You will love it. Do I do affirmations, unbiased truth? Not really. Not really. I don't need to like trick myself into anything, you know. I pray. Yeah. No, I've never been in the UK ever. Never been in the UK. Put a cap on the truck. Yeah, truck like truck bed camping is fun. Yeah. Her Two Wheels has some motovlog camping vids. Yeah, yeah. I've seen them. Great stuff. Great stuff. Oh, let's see. Uh, do I think camping alone in the wilderness would be a bad thing as it leads to loneliness? Not at all. Not at all. I used to camp alone all the time, go hiking alone all the time. All the time. I love it. I love, 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 love being alone. Alethea Dio, what are my views on premarital sex? Well, I've had a lot of premarital sex and I had a lot of postmarital sex, but I am now waiting till I get married to be sexually involved with somebody. I decided that, and I just think it's the right thing to do, and it's something I've never done before. Better late than never, right? So, yeah. Yeah, Airbnb when you travel on your bike. Yeah, way better than a hotel. Totally. Am I filling cigars or pipes more these days? Definitely pipes. Definitely pipes. Yep, no doubt. Yeah, being out in the forest by myself. I did. I did. I used to go camping by myself upstate in Pennsylvania before there was even the internet, before I even had a computer. I'm talking when I was in my 20s and 30s. It was awesome. Yep. Oh, making biltong. Cool. That's awesome, man. That's cool. Hey, Sun Arrow. Good to see you. Robert Falk. Nice to see you, sir. I saw your training video, and I'm glad you're going for your next belt. That's awesome. Yeah, combat sports is really gonna really help you get into shape and everything like that. It is. New Zealand is in the house. Uh, when I camp, do I practice bushcraft survival skills? Some. Like for instance, I bring a tent and I bring a tent and a hammock. Uh, but during the day, when I'm by myself, I do stuff with my hatchet, an axe, a saw. I make things. I always have a nice little fire at night. Yeah. How was meeting Elliot Hulse? Elliot Hulse is a friend of mine. Elliot's a good guy, solid man, a gentleman. I know most of those guys that you probably watch. I know them personally. I've interviewed them, and yeah. Vaccine passports are the precedent for Mark of the Beast. The mark will come when 6G technology later arrives. I'm not surprised about that. Eric Burt wants to ask everyday carry items. It's funny that you ask because I emptied my pockets before I came out here. Always have a Spyderco or a quick open knife, chapstick, like a lip balm. Always, um, always. I carry a money clip and not a wallet. I stopped using wallets about 30 years ago. I like money clips better. What else? Um, a self-defense item. And that's pretty much it. A pen. I always have some type of writing implement on me, but I keep it simple. Karin, good to see you. Jebediah says, I'm looking forward to 7G. That's funny. Ireland's in the house. Unbiased truth. Did I have to overcome depression from earlier in your life? No, I never. I was never depressed. I felt discouraged, though. Yeah, felt discouraged. And the answer to that is courage. Have I ever thought about making my own line of pipes? I have made pipes. If I stand up, I'm going to knock over the tripod, but I have pipes that I made up on a shelf over here, and they smoke perfect. You saw a thing where chapstick can turn into a candle. Oh, okay. That's interesting. My thoughts on one-itis. I had it once, probably when I was, I don't know, like in my late 20s. After that, no, not at all. If I'm to fragrance, there's a scent I think you would enjoy. It's called A Man in His Pipe by TSVGA Parfums. It's a beautiful masculine scent. Oh, that sounds great. A Man in His Pipe. I like that. Thank you for that. Hey, if anyone wants to join in, um, please do so. I'm going to post a link, and there's no prerequisites except just be a lady or a gentleman. That's all. Speciosa. Can I send you a pipe I made? You sure can. Email me. Yep. To make bacon scented candles. Ugh, that's gross. That's gross. I don't think I would like a bacon scented candle. I'd rather just like make bacon, right? I mean, people burn candles for the scent. If I want the smell of bacon in my house, I'm gonna make bacon. Simple as that. Jake says I joined, but I'm out in the hot tub. It's all right. Chavez, yes, you can send me a video message. Oh, you're about to go live, Mr. Finn. Okay, cool. Yeah, if I had a bacon candle, I'd be tempted to eat it. Carla Hernandez says, I want to make a pilgrimage in Spain, walking to Santiago. Okay, that's cool. Michael McLean says, beard on brother. Yes, absolutely. Let me give you a fist bump. James Torson, my manager received a Christmas scented soy candle for her birthday last year. I have no idea what a Christmas scent is. I don't know. Kettle Bear, good to see you, man. You got some gravy for me, huh? All right, that's cool. Is I don't know. Well, we have Mr. Sun Arrow. You got some gravy for me, huh? All right, that's cool.
I gotta
turn down your YouTube. Well, we have Mr. Sun Arrow.
I got you playing on my big television, and I wasn't too sure which one to turn off, so it's like I'll just turn off the big screen.
Very good. How are you doing tonight, Robert? All right.
I'm doing good. I like to say thanks for the allowing people to get back on. Whatever you call this thing, I forget what you call it, but anyways,
tonight I'm just calling it like talk radio night because it just reminds me of the old-fashioned talk radio where people just call in and talk about whatever they want.
I think that's awesome, and thank you for accepting me on here and stuff. I'm much appreciative and everything. And
how the babies doing?
Oh, they're doing great.
Good.
Got one sleeping in front of me, the newest one, and then the other one there. She's into this cocoa melon stuff, and I've had her up to here with that stuff.
That's great.
Every night. I just posted earlier today. Well, I tried doing it earlier, and I think YouTube crashed or something. But
Oh, really?
I done for the first time in a while another new future father video and everything. Because I noticed I realized I'm kind of been a slacker a lot lately, and that's
Yeah.
no excuse, but. I realized, here I was trying to do a lot of this research, that way I could be accurate enough for a lot of young men like me that are becoming fathers. What could I give advice? I want to be accurate, but then I got to thinking there is really no right or wrong. It's just what works for the individual child and how you
Yeah.
can embed yourself as a parent, either by learning from other people's mistakes or realizing the mistakes that you made in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've done a lot of that.
Yeah. I hear you. Hey, I got a super chat from Kettlebell bringing logos to the YouTube men's community. Yes, sir, I am. And you know that. Also, the super chat from David Little about porn addiction. You got to go cold turkey with that. You can't decrease the amount of dicks and vaginas that you watch. You just have to like not do it. And that's what I think. I think if they're watching too much porn, what happens is when they see the real thing, then they don't get turned on. And there's a horrible epidemic of young people who've watched a lot of porn who are having sexual dysfunction at 20 years old, 25 years old, which is ridiculous. Sexual dysfunction should be for the 95-year-old guys, not for the 25-year-old guys. So
Hey,
what I would do is I would eliminate all apps, uh, anything that's on the computer at all. Just get rid of it. Get rid of it completely. Yep. Let's see. Jake says, any best age to have kids? Well, Robert, what do you think? What's the best age to have children?
I was told by an elder, a native elder, one time because he was mentoring me and everything, and taught me a lot of my kind of taught me how to be calm and cool and collect and everything and control my anger a lot. And he told me, he said, don't have children until you're in your 30s. And I said, well, why is that? He said, because you don't get all that partying out of your system, all that boozing and drinking and everything else. And he said, and hopefully you learned enough early on in life that you ain't going to end up being the same way when you reach your 30s, get it out of your system. Of
Yeah,
course, yeah, I sound crazy, and a lot of people don't believe me when I say this sometimes, but it's like the name of my daughter. Her name is Isla, but
yeah,
it's actually Alice spelled backwards, which is my mother's name. At the age of 13, I was thinking about this stuff sitting in high school because I've always had that desire to want to be, a family man, be the
yeah.
dad I never had in my life, but at
Yes, right.
I try to be a little bit better than what I had seen as examples and stuff. And I'm always got room to grow. I'm always out there to learn. But I'm gonna say at least try to wait till you're in your 30s, at least, and be sure. And I was lucky and blessed that they have the woman in my life that's in my life right now. And I wish I would have got married first, but we're working on that in July. Matter of
Yeah,
fact, the 22nd of July. But I've always wanted to be that family man. But just be sure that the person you're with is worth taking that risk because just like you've talked about in a lot of your videos, if you're a divorced dad, you go through a lot of stuff. And
yeah, you do.
and I even seen with some of my other friends that, well, I wouldn't say their lifestyle was the best examples, because in the sense of their situation with the type of woman they allowed to be in their life and
Yes.
everything. And I ain't got no room to be preaching there because I made a lot of mistakes with a lot of the wrong people before I got this far in my
Yeah.
life. That I realized those mistakes I've learned. And once again, I made a lot of them in my 20s before I even
Hmm.
hit 30s. Now, granted, there's
Yeah.
also people out there that say, hey, you can still party in your 30s too, but I kind of
Right.
wanted done and over with that. I kind of like
Awesome.
idea of being the dad to run the barbecue and watch the kids play out in the grass and stuff.
Yeah. 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 Hey, explain to everybody what sun arrow means.
Sun Arrow is a spiritual name that was given to me by an elder, and
Now, when you
it,
say elder, explain that. Not everybody knows what your background is.
well, first of all, I do not have any registration or tribal affiliation, mostly because the research done on my family, my genealogy, we believe because we was tracing the Cherokee background, and my mom and my cousin Art, who passed away, give or take 7 or 8 years ago, who also was a big influence in my life.
Yeah.
They had actually went to Kentucky, and I got like a print off book like this thick
Yeah.
of about 3,000 hours worth of research, where we got land deeds, um, all that stuff that entitles with land and stuff, and trying to use that to try to trace back to the Dawson rolls, because a lot of your land deeds are, your big thing right there. That's helps with linkage on a lot of that stuff sometimes, especially if
Yeah.
you are, or especially if you come from, I guess what they would call there's a part of the Dawson rolls during like the Trail of Tears, that there were people that led off the Trail of Tears, and as bad as this, I ain't sure if this is the right terminology. It's the way I use it. They pretty much cut their hair and blended in with white society for the sake of survival and everything. And to further along go with that is it was said, passed through the family, that I had, I think it was great grandparents that was known to whisper in a secret language on their front porch at night, and it was not English, but they said it was the old Gidua dialect of the Chickamauga Cherokee. Well, some of those people will never be able to be registered or carded, tribally affiliated, at least as far as like Cherokee is concerned. And
Yeah.
so they that conclusion, that's where our family lineage is right in there. And
Ah, okay.
but there's also a lot of missing links too that
Hmm.
couldn't be. And so there's that 50-50 on there.
Yeah.
So I'm not just Cherokee. I know I'm a little bit of Crow, Lakota, and some Ojibwe, and even some Miami. But I don't know the whole missing links there. But I do know that the one of the chiefs here in Indiana of the Miami Nation, um,
Yes.
Brian, and his brother are like distant relatives somewhere down the line, and I don't know the links or anything, but I've corresponded with them, met up with them at powwows and stuff here locally, and everything, and good people, accepting people, and now I've been to some of the reservations and stuff, and that's a whole nother ballpark. And I just kind of learned it's best just to keep your mouth shut unless you're spoken to in some
Yeah.
cases, because I mean, I'm sure you can figure out where that come from. But anyways, I had an elder that done a Cherokee ceremony with me, and it's what they called a crossing over ceremony,
What's
and
that mean?
it's like a rite of passage of becoming a man. And
Okay.
you go to like a stream or just a little body of moving water, and pretty much you enter in one side of the stream a boy, and while you're walking through the stream and you're walking against the current, and you're in a prayerful mind, you're praying, you're asking for strength and guidance through your life, and to help you get the blessings that to help you prepare to receive the blessings and everything. And when you come, and then like when you feel just a relief, or pressure, or when you feel the spirit guide you, you come up out of the water on the opposite side, and when you come out of that water, you become a man. You shed
Right.
off all things. on
Yeah.
that day when I came out on the other side, I was given that name, but the reason they gave me that name is because they said my words are quick like an arrow and can cut like one. And I've learned, and so now I normally say don't quote me on anything if I'm not for sure about something. But if I know I'm right on the truth, I know I'm speaking the truth, just like an arrow, I'll just keep driving with the truth.
Right.
And so,
I get
kind of
it.
what the name means, other than they say that on the sunniest days I'm at my best, and that's just from their observation. And
What
then,
are what are some other interesting Native American names that you've heard?
well, one thing I found kind of interesting, as which sometimes made me wonder about the name I was given, is most of your Cherokee names, like traditionally, are not so bright, let alone colorful. Like
Uh-huh.
you might be called Mud Dog, you know, or something like that for one
Uh-huh.
reason or you know. But some people and there's a lot of YouTube channels out there with of some natives out there where they're like, yeah, you got to beware of the colorful names, and da da da. And I'm just like, well, what if there was, someone that just looked at somebody and said, hey, this is what I see, this is what I feel the spirit laying upon me to call you. And what if it was a colorful name, you know, or something bright. I think
Mm-hmm.
interesting names I heard one time was a woman named Morning Lark Basket. And I found that to be very interesting. And I didn't know it at the time that I met the woman and everything. And she was a kind woman and everything and stuff. And then I know Chief Brian, his actual name is Chief Blue Jay. And one time I used to struggle with my last name due to personal reasons, but mostly because I'm kind of my bio pop. I'll just put it that way. But
Yeah. Yeah.
the chief, he told me, he said, I'm going to tell you something. He said, I can relate with you on something. He said, when the elders gave me the name Blue Jay, he said, I got to thinking, were they really right? Because you look at the nature of a blue jay, they'll tell you that he said that the blue jay in its nature is kind of sneaky, tricky, and he said they'll even put an egg, their own egg, just like a cuckoo. They'll put an egg in another nest and another bird raise their young and stuff like that. He said, and they'll even steal an egg too. He said, so I never understood why they call me that, but he said, I learned through my experiences. He said, I learned that I'll just make the name. He said, I have that name. He said, I make that
Okay.
name I wanted it to represent. And so that's one of
Interesting.
the things I learned along the way. And then, funny thing is too, I don't know enough about the Cherokee language because it's hard. It's hard when to learn the language and to understand the language if you don't have people around you that constantly speak the language. So when
Yeah.
people ask, "Well, can you speak any native?" I said, "I can speak a little broken Ojibwe more than I can Cherokee." And they said, "How?" I said, "Well, I can say bonjour nicodem or no bonjour indigenous and
Sounds
bonjour."
French.
It does. It really does. And believe it or not, some of the Ojibwe people, up there, and live up close to Canada and stuff. Like my adopted uncle, he's Anishinaabe Ojibwe, and he's the one that was teaching me about the culture of the Ojibwe people
Yeah.
and some of the language. And I asked him, I said, that sounds French. He goes, well, he said, sort of. But then there's also another greeting of theirs where you could just simply say ani. And it's just like AH and then how you spell the word knee. And
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of interesting to me. And I also found where like fanatical spelling like when it comes to some certain words that are phonetically spelled in most native languages,
Yes.
it it kind of like I have trouble spelling sometimes, and a lot of
Hmm.
people, you know, I catch a lot of crap for that, but I've learned to deal with that over the years too, and
Yeah.
everything. And I learned that
Uh,
phonetic spelling with certain native pronunciations, I actually am right with the way my dyslexia is. It speaks to me more than trying to learn how to spell normal words in English with phonetic spelling.
well,
And
when you've written me in the past and you write in a very phonetic style, I 100%, like I find myself almost like saying the words under my breath, and I know exactly what you're saying.
also,
Exactly.
also say this too. God bless the special education teachers out there and
Yeah.
anybody that is wanting to go into special educational needs for people that or special educational um, teaching. My hat's off to you because you got to be
Yeah.
patient. You got to be very understanding,
Yeah.
and your brain almost has to flip everything to be right upside down just to interpret
Yeah.
what your students are trying to say or express.
You're
And
right.
one of the most important things that I learned from a teacher was Miss Bumgardner, and she taught me this. She goes, Robert, she goes, has anyone ever told you what dyslexia really is? And I said, no, not really. And I said, other than it, you have trouble learning. She goes, what it is the thought in the brain is moving just as rapid as electricity or lightning in the sky.
Okay.
And she says,
Okay.
problem of that is before you get the process of one thought in your mind, your brain has already flipped in another thought before the other thought has processed through. And so she said, for example, you already thought in your head of a word to write, but she said, but from here to here, something happens from your mind to your hand. And
Gotcha.
that's pretty much what happens is she goes, it's not a misfire, but it's like a rapid continuous fire.
Right. Interesting.
And they helped me understand what I was actually about. Matter of fact, when you started doing videos about fountain pens and stuff, is which that inspired me to get
Yeah.
involved with doing, working with fountain pens. I have learned how I wouldn't say lazy, but how laid back, technology with, talk to text and sometimes talk. I still struggle with talk to text and autocorrect because sometimes I feel like that's not um what you call it. With all the technology and everything, you think even if someone slightly had a slur in their word or talking, it wouldn't be, it would still spell it out. But when I went back to try to write things, I realized so much how much I actually was speeding up in my mind with words, and how I had to actually reteach myself to slow down my thoughts more than I ever
Hmm.
had to, just to write, let alone a paragraph, but just a simple sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you communicate well verbally, and over the years, when I've read your emails, I perfectly understand you. At first, it was difficult, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And then I thought, okay, this is all phonetic. I get it. I totally get it now. So I 100% understand what you're saying when you're right.
Now, there's one post on one of the posts you made about, I think it had to do with something with the White House or something. I had posted my opinion, and I did not realize I meant to put the words "give my life," but instead autocorrect switched it to "give my wife," and someone commented down that I hope said wife didn't isn't aware of reading this or something like that, and I went back and I was like, it's like, oh man, now I see how weird that looked. So I went
Well,
back, corrected it, and commented back under that, and I said sometimes I have trouble spelling, and autocorrect messes with me, and I said, thank you for this correction. May I have another?
yeah, that's good. Well, that reminds me of the comedian Henny Youngman. He used to say, "Take my wife, please," all the time, and that would make me laugh. Daniel Freeman, how are you, sir? Unmute yourself.
Pretty
There you
good
go.
yourself. I was just
Good.
being patient, letting the conversation keep going.
Yeah. Where are you dialing in from?
Colorado Springs. Just moved here about a month ago.
Oh, son of a gun. That's Jennifer Molesky territory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
Personally, but
That's
I know
great.
of her. I know of her.
Yeah, she's not far from there. I think
Mm-hmm.
her and her husband are moving somewhere. I think they might be going to Tennessee or something. I don't know. They're looking
That's what
to
I
do
heard.
some. Yeah, they want to do some homesteading or something.
I'd love to do it myself too, but
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I want to say hello to Sergeant Fighter. Yeah, I remember meeting you at the Dan Pena conference in Philly in 2019. I remember that very well. We met after the conference uh, out in front of the auditorium. I love that. Yeah, wow. Small world. Definitely. And Sun Arrow, you are in Indiana?
I'm in Indiana. When I first started doing YouTube, I was living down in Kentucky, and
Y-
I didn't know it at the time, but I also inspired a few other people to start up their channels again down there.
Yes.
But now I live back in Indiana. I call it a small little hick redneck town, but I love it.
Hmm. And
It's
how's your mother doing?
mom's doing good. This is one thing I miss about being able to do live streaming. When YouTube changed their whole ordeal with that, it really put a dagger in my heart. You know, it really did.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
kind of upset me a little bit. But mom had a. I don't know if I posted anything about this or not. But if not, well, I guess here's news to everybody. Mom had been battling cancer, woman cancer.
Yeah.
I don't know correct medical words, but I guess uterus and vaginal tract cancer or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so she had to go through this radiation treatment. No, not radiation, chemo treatment. And then on the tail end of it, she was hospitalized for 3 days, and they put these radiated probes in her or something, and like
Okay.
directly on tumors where they was at, and
Uh-huh.
shrunk them down to where it's almost, I wouldn't say quite, but almost non-existent, but yet the presence are there. And they said that like every 3 months or so, or every 6 months, I can't remember how these set up that stuff, but she goes get checked out. I know she had her one of her checkups last month. They said still can't tell a trace of anything that she was going, that she had that. It was still as it was and everything. And so that's good. But some of the side effects of that stuff, I will tell you this: if you have any family member going through that type of stuff, if they already have any occurring uh, issues like diabetes and heart trouble, and have
Yeah.
trouble, with the with what diabetes does, slowing blood flow down to the brain and all that, it'll cause them to really show, like, I wouldn't say dementia symptoms, but off and on they will have
Brain
their
fog. Like a
moments.
brain fog,
mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely, like it's kind of fun. It's not funny, but then it is funny. Like we'd be sitting there at the house with her, and know that her and my sister are living together now, and that's some long answered prayer, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. and
Right.
everything. But those two live together and helping one another out because my sister suffers with mental disabilities and everything. Well, mental and emotional disabilities. I don't know how you would rate that, and what you've done in your profession and
Yeah.
everything. But they've been with one another, and she's been taking good care of her mom, as which is once again answered prayer. But we be over there at her house and with the kids and everything, and once in a while she'll actually look at my daughter and start calling her my sister's name, or even
Hmm.
sometimes vice versa, start calling D me or and stuff, and I just kind of sit there and I just smile. And then her and my cousin Art, they was really close, and so once in a while I'll be sitting there, she'd be carrying a conversation with me and thinking and calling me Art. So I just sit there and I smile and I say, Mom, I said, I know what you mean. I said, I know who you're talking about, but I said, I'm not Art.
Yeah. Well, give Mom our love and praise the Lord for her non-recurring cancer, and we hope the best for her. Your mom won me over several years ago. You did a little cooking video in her kitchen, and I got such a kick out of that. And that was years ago. That was several years ago, and that was pretty fun.
I think I'm going to guess that was close to anywhere between 3.5 years ago.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. Was that in Kentucky or is that Indiana?
She was in Indiana, and I was coming up from Kentucky to visit her and the family. So
Hmm.
that was one of my trips that I made up here. And to this day, Mom is still the same way in the kitchen. Even if you tell her you're going to make a sandwich and a cup of coffee, she has to be right there making sure you're doing it right, or to give you time to do it.
That's great. That's great.
Uh,
Hey,
one,
Daniel,
one
what
thing
what
her and me,
what'd you do today?
What did I do today? Went out with my dog. Played with the local kids. I live in an RV park right now, just trying to save money. With me and my wife being married for about a year now.
Sweet.
Pretty chill. Since I haven't a job yet. I have one that I'm really looking forward to the possibility of, but it won't start until May. So I'm trying to come up with ways to have income without having a second job.
I hear you. Okay.
Lance.
Interesting. Hello to Peg Bell from Ohio. Hey, Peg, joined us tonight. We notice, now this is not the Beard Club. If anyone else wants to join and you don't have a beard, you're perfectly welcome to join us on the talk radio night. So I like to view this as a old-fashioned talk radio show where we talk about what you want to talk about. I don't have any agenda, and there's no right or wrong answers about anything, and it's just people getting to know one another. And I think that's in the COVID era, I think that's a really good thing.
Absolutely.
Amrit, how are you, sir?
homesteading.
We just made it a beard club. 4 guys with beards.
It is the Beard Club.
Unofficially.
How you doing? All right?
I'm doing fine. And yourself and everyone else in the chat?
Don't.
Awesome.
What'd you do today, Amrit?
Oh, it was a pretty lazy day for me. I went to the museum yesterday, so we walked a lot, so I guess I was tired today. So I just lazed around. It's raining here in New York, so the weather's good for I guess being cozy.
Yeah. Wow.
Just cooked me up some hot dogs. I was just eating some dinner there.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
How was your day?
Yeah, I had a good day today. I worked at the prison, came home, and I'm still recovering from jet lag. It takes a few days to I was out in Vegas over the weekend, and tired tired. I think it takes about a week to recover from going out west. But I ended up getting a window seat on the plane, and I just couldn't keep my eyes off of the terrain as you're flying out to Vegas. And my Lord, it's just ever changing, and it's beautiful. And the mountains, there were snow-capped mountains, and it looked like a painting. It was just unreal.
I haven't been on a plane in like 4 years. That was like my last vacation.
Yeah. It's funny, Vegas, of course, is a desert. And when you think desert, you think, God, it's really hot. I will tell you what, in the mornings, it was freezing out there. I could not believe how cold it was. It doesn't register, because everyone thinks, oh, desert, hot, heat. Well, it was warm during the day, but in the morning, my Lord, it was so cold. And that just kind of blew my mind a little bit.
There's nothing to moderate the temperature, and so it's either totally hot or totally cold. Before we moved, we lived in California, which is a little smack dab of the desert. And yeah, winters were cold, snow, but then as soon as summer hit, you were about 10 degrees. No in between, no fall, no spring. It's just winter.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Ali says, did I spend some serious money? No, I didn't spend. I was not in Vegas for a gambling trip. I was out there with about 20 YouTubers, some very popular people who, a lot of us guys all know each other. And we just kind of got together for some fellowship, and we're breaking bread, steak dinners, cigars, hanging out, getting to know one another. And some guys with some really big followings, and it was just a really cool time, just getting to know people. And I think the YouTube world, when people start connecting in real life, that takes it from the virtual element. When you start meeting with people in real life, it's like, I did a couple really quick videos over the weekend that some of you might have seen, and there was a couple people who I've had some words with in the past, and almost got into like some fights with, like verbal fights. And I got a short temper, and I'm always like ready to fight all the time. And when we saw each other, we just we laughed, shook hands, gave hugs, and whatever. And when people talk shit against to one another online, that's totally different than when you meet face to face, because it's really hard to keep up the asshole persona when you meet people face to face. And I liked everyone, and we all got along. We had a good time, and I think it's just a testament to the goodness in people. I think being online changes people's personalities, because it makes being online like this, you could say anything you want. You're hiding behind a camera, but when you're face to face, there's a different dynamic. Terry Dedrick in Alabama had a tornado siren. She says she's in the safe room. Oh my Lord. Terry, I hope you're okay.
Prayers your way.
I've never experienced that before.
Yes.
It's weird.
And going back to that, talking shit behind the camera, and in person, you might get punched in the face, so that kind of deters a lot of people from.
It does. Yeah. A lot of people, when they meet face to face, it's hard to keep up the tough guy or the anger or stuff like that, because I really don't believe, I don't think anyone wants to fight. I think I had so many laughs over the weekend. When I laid my head down on my pillow, and I did some live streams from Vegas, I was tired at the end of the day, not just from the flight, but just from meeting just so many cool people. Some of them I already knew. Some of them you guys already know. People like Coach Greg Adams, who has become a good friend over the past couple of years. Just a nice guy. Trying to think of some of the other guys. Aaron Clary was a gentleman. Was a great guy. Terrence Pop. I met Terrence before, and I interviewed him before, and I did a quick little video on him the other day. And what a solid guy, a compassionate guy, and massive following. Just he's got such a big fan base. It was really kind of cool to spend some personal one-to-one time with him. Spending time with the guy on YouTube called Hotep Jesus, just a brilliant thinker, a nice guy, well known in his circles. And what was interesting was it was a gathering. The only way that I can put it is it was a gathering of kings. Like we have a little bit of crossover with our audiences, but each one of these guys has their own huge fan base, and we all got together. And here's the cool thing. We all became fans of each other, and if you ever get a chance to meet other YouTubers from far away, it just takes communication and life to a different level. It's really cool. Very, very cool.
How long have you been doing YouTube, George?
5 years.
Wow. What made you start?
I started, this channel was a men's grooming channel where I talked about hair and beards and skincare and that kind of stuff. And it was mainly for men. And then it grew into more philosophical issues and talking about life and so forth, and smoking pipes and smoking cigars and all that. And then I started getting a female following, which totally surprised me because it was mainly a guy's channel. Now I have a lot of female followers, and they've added, like if you're cooking something on the stove, you're tasting it while you're cooking it, just to see how it is. And then you say to yourself, well, it needs a little bit more salt or a little bit more this spice or that spice. And I think many of the ladies that have joined this were, they added spice, some flavor to the conversations, because I just feel like I felt it was very, I was starting to talk about the same things over and over again. And I found that when the audience changed, as a matter of fact, Mike Cernovich told me this. He said, your audience will change you. Mike told me that about 2 years ago. And I didn't really understand what he meant by that, but I understand now how your audience changes your attitude. I mean, there was a point when I had like all men, and it was just like just always talking about beards. And then guess what? I started attracting women to the channel who like guys with beards. So I thought that was so that was kind of funny. And it's interesting how some people say, oh, you're from the beard channel, or you're the guy from the pipe channel, or you're the guy from because I did a series of videos where I was drinking some whiskey or rum and smoking a cigar and just talking philosophy and stuff. And a lot of people joined during that time. And then I started talking about relationships and started talking about recovering from divorce and such. And then it just kind of grew and grew and grew into this community where it's always interesting and it's never predictable. And I've attracted some of the biggest YouTubers that have been on this channel, and we've all become friends. And it's been just absolutely magnificent. It's been so much fun.
It was the pipe smoking that brought me on. It was the wisdom that stay.
Excellent.
Yeah, same for me. It was the beard stuff, and then I think he was talking about I think it was an interview with Elliot Hulse. I was like, wow, that's a really
Oh
cool for
yeah.
me.
Yep.
I will say the beard enlightening because before I started to get into your channel, I kept it really clean, thin around and connecting the mustache. And then seeing some of your videos after I joined, grow it out a little longer and see what happens. And I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. I mean, I've
I
always
said,
said all beards are beautiful. You know.
Mm-hmm. It's sometimes hard to convince the person with the beard at the time, though.
me.
Go ahead, Sun Arrow. Talk to us, man.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to be rude or anything.
No, go
I
for
think
it.
for me, what got me to following your channel was at first I was seeking advice, about smoking a pipe and everything. Just one day I woke up and said I want to try the hobby of pipe smoking and everything and stuff because I didn't really want to continue smoking cigarettes. I've done smoked a few cigars and everything, but I was looking for guidance on pipes because I grew up listening to stories about my mom told me about my great grandfather smoked a pipe, and even my grandfather at one point in time had smoked a pipe. So I was like, I'm looking for guidance. Well then, and this is before I ever was part of the YouTube period, and I was kind of ghost following you. And then when I learned how to get a channel going and be actually part of YouTube, that's when I subbed and started learning more about the beard growing and everything. But I will say this: I am waiting for the moment that you do a reading of the refrigerator manual or something, because the way you read a story and the way your voice is and everything, you can make that type of material sound very insightful and enlightening.
I could just pull like an owner's manual out and talk philosophy about the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, now here's something different. Athena says, being an Orthodox Jewish woman, I really fancy the beard and the common sense, manly wisdom, practical reasoning, and male affirmation. Well, Athena, come on board, click the link and join us. I know you did that, I think, a week or two ago, and we enjoyed having you on. Oh, we have somebody from Moscow on tonight. That's awesome. That's cool.
She could take my 7% on my phone, so I'm gonna leave here anyways.
All right, Daniel. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Good to meet you. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Good to meet you. Good to meet you guys too.
Thanks, man.
Have a good one, eh?
All right, so Sun Arrow,
Is it
tell
just
us about
very
your beard. Tell us about your beard. How long you been growing your beard?
well? The 2nd October, I was in Kentucky. Also, was when I was really following your channel a lot and everything, and learning the hints, tips, and tricks and stuff. I decided I'm going. And after you made the comment of just let it grow, don't mess with it, just let it grow. So I was like, I'm going to do it. And there's a few videos that I'd done that I called the bus stop videos, as which I think is kind of what some people liked a lot, and I kind of miss doing those to a certain degree. But anyways, I talked about the impatience I had growing out the beard and looking like an Apache old dog with the mange or something. And after about the year mark, I was like, you know what, I ain't gonna touch it. I'm just gonna let it be. And I hadn't even trimmed it or anything. I just groomed it out and, kept care of it until I moved back to Indiana. And I decided, well, I don't like the way it looks on my cheeks. And then when I
Yeah,
watched your video about, how you showed to use a straight razor, as which I've yet used one, I'm kind of nervous about that. But, I saw
right,
the guidelines that you gave, when it comes to following the line there, you don't want to look cut out, but you don't just want to go straight in with it. So I was
right.
going, I video like several times yours before I decided to ever trim it for the first time. And so that's also what I kind of done here in the recent. If you can't tell the difference between some of the videos and stuff I've done, that's the only difference right now in my beard. Other than I predominantly show a separation of my mustache and my beard line. But I made a bit of a tiny mistake. I took my eyes off the mirror for like a split second, and like one side of my mustache, I trimmed probably just a hair bit, above what I wanted. So it's kind of
Yeah.
uneven, but I was like, what, I'm deal with it. It's one of those things that, I could just shave it all off and start over, but it's like, no, I'm going to wear that and be proud of wearing that, because then next time I'll learn and know not to take my eyes off what I'm doing.
I think
But
everybody has jacked up their beard at one point or another.
Like,
You know.
that takes
Hey,
so much willpower too. Like when you mess up, because you try to even up the other side, and what ends up happening
and it
is,
keeps going further and
yeah,
further up, right? Yeah.
the sun
Yeah.
arrow. Like kudos to you, man. Because when I mess up, like
oh,
I mess up, So like kudos to you, man.
well, I
Just
will.
grow it out, let it be.
Well, I will say this though. You know, I being part Native. A lot of people say, "Oh, Native people." This is another thing that also made me grow a mustache. Is I got in an argument while I was on the clock working for Walmart. Matter of fact, I worked in Linton, Indiana. It was the very first Walmart I worked in at before I transferred down to Kentucky. I got in a fight while I was on the clock. Well, not like a physical fight, but a verbal fight with a white supremacist.
Oh boy.
And the whole thing started out with him was, hey, do you think you deserve to work in a place where it's just whites only, da da da. And the only reason why I knew the guy was saying that to me is because there was a guy from Africa that worked. He was from Gunya, Gunya, I think it is over there. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right or not, but his name was Festus, and I joke
Right.
with him all the time. And I was like, you're from Africa, you got the most redneck name ever, And I introduced him to Gunsmoke, and
Right.
he thought it was cool. Well, I knew this guy had saw me talking with him and everything, and it really angered me a lot. One, someone making that remark to me, especially,
Yeah.
yeah, I might look Caucasian, but genetically, I am a mixed bundle, just like probably 95% of Americans today on the, just in this, in our country alone, we're
Sure.
made up of many races. I don't care, which way you cut the cake, and I looked at him and I said, well, sir, I said, I personally believe that I should have the right to work with many people from many different areas. And I said, matter of fact, I said, you're talking to a native anyways. He goes, well, you're not
Mm-hmm.
native. You're about as white as I am. And I said, sir, I said, I am as native as they come. And yet I'm also just as Caucasian as you. I said, I'm a mixed blooded man. And he goes,
Yes.
well, natives can't grow facial hair. And I just had just a 5 o'clock shadow thing going. I was having a lazy day or lazy week, more or less. And I said, sure. I said, native people can grow facial hair. I said, look, and this is a guy that I really love to look up when I discovered, native people do grow facial hair. It was a Cherokee diplomat, and that's the only way I can put it, is a Cherokee diplomat named Tachi. Well, in
Mm-hmm.
English, that translates to the Dutch. Well, there's an older picture that the show that's in history that shows this man, and he is sporting one of the best mustaches and goatees I've ever seen on a native man. And eventually, one of these days, I'm thinking about just doing away with the whole full beard and growing a mustache and a goatee, if I can ever bring myself to it. But
Yeah.
that would be the look I go for that he had. And so, therefore, from that day forward, I said, I'm going to at least keep a mustache, because even if nothing else grows in looking right, I'm going to maintain a mustache just for the simple fact that I stood up to that white supremacist and I won an argument because I told him, I said, some native people, don't grow facial hair. And I told him, I said, don't you know, in certain cultures, they actually used a clam shell or a mussel shell and picked out hairs in the I don't know what you call the juices in the clam or the mussel, does have like a nair effect to the skin, to the hair follicle, is what I was told one time by an elder. And they said certain nations that done that, once they'd done that, they wouldn't grow it back because it just kind of killed the hair follicle from growing back in, because it's like an acid, kind of like an acid substance or something like that, from what he explained to me. But I said, you look through history, you'll find a lot of Native people grew facial hair, and that's what set it completely straight for me for growing out any form of facial hair.
Yeah. And then if you do that, you smell like clam chowder, though.
Well, true.
Amrit, how long have you been growing your beard?
Oh, a year now. I started in quarantine. Always had some
Okay.
type of facial hair,
Yeah.
but I always had it groomed. And like the gentleman said before you, um, one of your videos impacted me the way to grow it out because like to keep it groomed up all the time, I feel like it's it's not natural, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's more this has more personality than just going up like get it lined up.
All
So I
lined up.
kind of
Yeah.
so I sort of I've been growing up for a year and I've been liking the natural look as personality.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I do like the natural look, and it just I don't know, it's not as obsessive as always lining it up all the time. You know what I mean? Because like whenever you like put a line in something, when that line starts to grow out, it just looks a little sloppy. So if you just like let it rip, it just looks good. I mean, your beard looks good. Hey, let
Oh,
me ask
thank
you
you.
this, Amrit, for your work that you do. How is your beard accepted in your workplace?
It actually it is accepted because I'm a teacher, right? And for some reason, like in New York City, a lot of teachers are like kind of like artsy, you know?
Oh yeah,
There's
yeah,
that hipster phase going on.
yeah,
Everyone's so I mean I'm not a hipster by no means, but I guess I can get away with it, you know?
yeah,
Um
yeah,
plus it's New York, so it's very diverse here, you know?
yeah.
Um
What do your
people
students
look
think of it?
I haven't with this length, I haven't been in the classroom with this length beard.
Oh, that's
I'm
right,
ex-
because of
yeah,
COVID and such, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to see how they'll react. I don't know if they'll look at me with more authoritative figure or I'm
Yeah,
excited to do that little social experiment
yeah, that's interesting.
because
Very interesting.
without the hair I look really young. I'm 32.
Yeah.
I'll probably look like 24, 23. So um
Don't
I
slap me
like the
for
facial hair.
distance, but
Wait till
I
your
was
hair
pegging
turns
you for.
white.
I'll embrace it. I'll embrace it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's wisdom.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Definitely. Sonero, how old are you?
I'm 33, be 34 come November 15th. Uh,
Excellent.
talking about graying the beard and stuff. I was until like I'm gonna say probably going on about 5, 6 years ago. I went through a very bad spell, a dark time in my life, and stuff. And after I got done, dealing with that in my life and everything, as which kind of took me to Kentucky and everything. One day I looked in the mirror for the first time in my life, and I started seeing gray in my beard. A lot in the chin area
Yeah.
and some of my soul patch stuff. And I'm just like, how in the world did this happen? I blinked my eye, or what? And then I noticed like, and I don't know if it's just the brand I'm using or the type I'm using, or if it's just the way my hair follicles respond to this stuff. But I noticed when I use a combination of beard oil of an evening, and then if I'm going out in the day or anything, or even like after a shower, then I'll do the whole beard balm and beard oil both combined. My grays don't show as bad, but if I go like 1 or 2 days without even beard oil in my beard, I see it more predominantly. Is there like a chemical reaction to that, or is that normal for men, or That's just
I
happened to
have
be like
no
a one
idea.
in a million thing that happens.
I guess it sounds like a completely random thing to me. I never heard that before.
It's probably because with the oil, your hair is like patted down, so it's probably hiding behind other hair follicles. So that's why you think it's doing something to the gray, but it's probably just being patted down. Maybe that could be a reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Just hearing that, I just realized that was probably a real stupid question. But then again, there ain't no such thing as stupid.
Not here. There isn't. No such thing as that here. I went for 3 months without washing my hair or beard, and it was an experiment. I know this one guy who he had a great slicked back hair style, and I said, "Hey, dude," I said, "like, what product are you using in your hair? I really like." He says, "I'm not using any product." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "I'm doing this thing where I'm not using any shampoo." And I thought, "Really?" And he says, "Yeah." And I said, "You mean you haven't washed your hair or beard?" He says, "Nope, not at all." And that was in months. I said, "I want to try that." So I went 3 months without washing my hair or beard, like with water, but not using soap on it. And the natural oils came out, and I could groom my hair and beard perfectly. It was like real. I was actually quite surprised at how good it turned out. Athena,
Greetings, everyone. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Austin, Texas, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The
How,
last bastion of hope and freedom.
how's the weather down there in Austin?
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous today. It's very windy right now.
Okay,
My father thinks there's going to be another cold snap for Easter, and
okay.
and it will probably be in the blazing 80s, going all the way into the hundreds by the end of April. So yeah,
Oh, instant summer then, right?
yes, very much so.
Oh, wow, that's something. Look at those nails you have. Holy cow.
Sorry. Hold on one second. I'm at work. Give me 1 second.
That's all right.
Um, I'm going to head out, Mr. Bruno. I got a exam to study for.
All right, Amrit, thanks for joining tonight.
Thank you for having me on. Bye,
Yep,
everyone.
good to see you.
I do agree with that whole
Daniel.
3 months. I'm coming back. I came back inside and I had my laptop.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
But I do agree with the 3 month thing you did. I tried it myself and I'm still not using shampoo or conditioner and it feels great. Don't need any product or anything.
Right. Don't people think like, oh, you're going to get all greasy and oily, and you really don't.
You don't. And maybe you do for that first month when your hair is still kind of getting used to it, but after that, totally fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's and I had never done that before because as a daily shower guy, I'm just always, soap and shampoo and whatever. And like for instance, like I don't use deodorant, and I haven't used deodorant in years. I will use a like a cornstarch or baking soda kind of thing, and just like powder. I just put powder in my armpits, and my armpits never stink at all. Like I never smell like sweat. And the weird thing is, I had to. It's almost like I had to detox from using the chemicals, and I found that when I was using deodorant obsessively every day, that by the end of the day, I was smelling like sweat. But if you let it go, and you eat clean and you drink a lot of water, it's amazing how, like, the the body doesn't what's the word? it doesn't rebel with like a stink anymore, if that makes any sense, you know?
Nope, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to ask Athena if she uses deodorant or not, but that's we were just talking about that. So,
Well, to be honest, I have a body odor that doesn't really require it. My body stasis doesn't require it, but I like to smell good. That
yeah,
helps.
right. This is what I think, and I noticed when I stopped using a lot of body products like that, I found that when I eat clean and increased my water intake,
Mm-hmm.
that there really is no offensive odor.
Yeah, I
I know
find
I
that.
personally don't. Go ahead, Athena.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I find that as well. When I'm drinking more water, fruit juices are good for the whole cleansing system, but different juices help also cleanse the pores as well. And I find my skin kind of illuminates itself when I do
Hmm.
the water. I'm researching intermittent fasting right now. I want to try that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What kind of what what have you read so far? What do you what, like, are you talking about like having a window of time where you eat, like a 6 hour window or something
Yeah,
like that?
I found an article that had 6 ways to do it. So I'm just kind of researching on which way would fit my schedule better because, of course, I get off at midnight.
Yeah.
And since it's just the munchies when I get off work, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
yeah. And I know that's not good. I know
Yeah.
that's not good. What were you
I
going to
know.
say? I wasn't, Dana was
Go
going to
ahead,
say something.
Daniel.
Yeah.
I think I was just gonna say I don't use deodorant either. I'll put
Oh,
on cologne every once in a while when I go out to something fancy, but other than that, no. And I don't. Same to you. I don't have that body odor issue.
yeah.
Body's pretty good at regulating itself. Doesn't require too much.
Right.
It really doesn't. If you eat clean and you drink a lot of water, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah. I'm a dirty eater. I'm learning to do better, though.
Yeah.
But I do like my water, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a
You know,
water snob. I like to
I have a
pour my
major
water.
addiction to coffee, so I learned to
To what? Uh-oh. Am I frozen?
No, it's
Sun arrow. There he is.
Oh, hi.
you're freezing up on
I
us, Sun
told you that
Arrow.
I had a major addiction to coffee, and sometimes I drink more coffee than water. So I got to like try to. I've been trying to teach myself to level out a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard coffee addiction in there. I know what that's like, and I significantly cut back on mine, and I'm at the point where I like just 1 to 2 cups, two at the ultimate most, but I gotta have my 1 cup a day. Gotta have my 1 cup a day. Athena, do you drink coffee?
I watched a video today, in fact, of you talking about Sweet Maria's coffee
Oh
beans
yeah,
and how it became
yeah,
green. And I had
yeah,
no idea coffee beans did that and how you
yeah,
roast them. I
yeah.
thought that was so fascinating. But I like a little coffee in my cream. I'm one of those sweet people. I have a sweet tooth from the heck.
I'm the same way.
I
I put vanilla creamer in my coffee,
Yeah, just,
but I also make it fancy too. I have to have it in the French press or cowboy style. I still think that makes a difference. There is a flavor difference.
it's
yeah, I will never
totally.
be a Starbucks woman. I will never do that to myself. Now I'll spend money on other things like my nails, but I will never do Starbucks.
Hmm.
They have these really cool like summer and spring drinks that are really refreshing.
A
But
long
other
time
than
ago,
that,
we up in
son,
Boy, that
Alex.
sound is going.
me and Mom was experimenting with flavoring coffee, and we started getting into some of her pie spices and mixing it in with the grounds. You'd be amazed at what nice pie spice can to your coffee.
Oh, that's
yeah.
interesting. Yeah. It's funny when people cut out, it sounds like they're being auto-tuned sometimes. I'll never forget the first time I heard auto-tuning in a country music song. I'm like, that does not work.
But they're gonna force it. They're gonna make it work. That fusion of hip hop, country, auto tune, and twerking. They're gonna force it. They're gonna.
And if it's not auto tune, it's reverb. Just a little something to add to the voice.
Yeah. It's weird when you hear a music artist that doesn't use anything like that, when they're just like a pure voice. It's almost like it's freaky.
Imagine Dragons did Bad Liar, and they did an acoustic version of Bad Liar, and it was so refreshing not to hear all that crap.
Yeah.
Song just to hear his voice in the clear version. I said, I know what he's saying now. I can understand.
Yeah.
And it's a shame sometimes too, because the artist's voice doesn't need anything extra. They have a beautiful voice by themselves, and they still feel the need to go in and edit it and change it. And
yeah. I started using as a end music for my videos, this woman that I found, Tina Vaughn, and I've been using her one song called Better Day as the end song on my morning videos. And I really liked the song when I heard it. And then I was searching for her, and I want to get her on the channel. Well, like when you listen to someone's voice, you kind of like have a preconceived idea of what they might look like, because she has a very soulful voice, and I thought it was a black woman. And then here she is, this white girl from Southern California, and I'm like, that voice came out of her, and I love it. And I just emailed her, and I want to get her on here live to sing that song for us.
No, I agree.
I thought she was black. I really did.
Yeah.
And I tried to Shazam the song today because I really liked it, and of course, the results for it. I was going to see if you had it in the description in the video, but yeah, I really like that song. Yeah,
it's called Better Day, and her name is Tina Vaughn, Vonn. She's awesome.
After hearing the song the first time, I wasn't sure that you were going to keep playing it or not, so I had to do the same thing, try and look it up and find out who she was. She has some other good stuff too. That's not the only good song she makes.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of YouTube videos of her live in concert. She has a very eclectic band that backs her up. Very fascinating. Definitely.
But no, it'd be really cool to hear an acoustic version of that song.
Yeah, I would love to have her on.
He's moving out.
Some people were asking about the hat. The hat is from Phil Foster. That's PF Enterprises. Phil Foster is a friend of mine down in Dallas, and that's his company. So he gave that to me this weekend. So I'm just wearing the hat now. That's all.
Can't turn down a good hat.
Oh my gosh, I know it. I always enjoy a good hat, definitely. All right, so Athena, are you a teacher or a tutor or something? What's your thing?
Well, I ran away from getting my alternative certification for secondary teaching once COVID happened, and I really knew that education was a bust. So I'm not really worried about going that profession anymore. But I had some kids attached onto me because I worked legislatively with their mother, and she thinks I'm intelligent or whatever. She wants me to rub off on her kids. So I'm covered hard to get these kids out of high school, and
Right.
and so the okay, I won't work tomorrow night. So I'm trying to get her settled, and she's the youngest one in the family, so all her brothers are older, and they're driving, they're working after school, and she's depressed because she hasn't seen any of her friends for over a year.
Yeah.
So I kind of hooked her up with my niece. I forgot they're kind of the same age. My niece is 13 and she's 14. So I'm trying to do some sip and paints and some things to keep her creative. They're going to make slime tomorrow night, and I'm trying to be a good aunt as well as a positive, person for them, a supportive person for them. Because it's really
Yeah.
hard. It's really hard. So I'm out of the education market. I was doing an after-school program until COVID, and of course, with no kids, I don't have a job. So now I work as an essential worker in the same company, but I do single occupancy residences where the station is manned 24 hours a day. And so I
Okay.
finally worked my way up into the third shift, the 4 to 2 night shift, thank the Lord, because that overnight was driving me bananas.
Right.
Working from midnight to 8 in the morning was hard on me.
Mm.
But I worked my way up, I did it.
Now, Athena, are you a native Texan?
Yes, sir. I was born in East Texas, grew up outside of Dallas, Fort Worth in a town called Terrell, Texas. And my father is a pastor. So they moved here in 1994 when I was in college.
Okay.
So, and I fell in love with Austin as a teenager from doing a lot of state meets and retreats and UILs and student council stuff. So I always felt, drawn to Austin. And it is so different now. My parents have lived here almost 30 years, and it's
Wow.
changed drastically.
Oh,
Dramatically.
really?
Oh, yeah. The influx of Californians,
Mhm.
California refugees, they've taken over. And then we're getting a lot of the New York people fleeing New York as well, but not as much as Florida is getting them. But
Oh,
California
wow.
already. Yeah, the real estate market is through the roof. They're developing and building everywhere. Buildings are tall now. It's like, what? Anything over 3 feet was like an eyesore, like, why is it taller than 3 feet? 3 stories. It's wrong. But
Yeah.
now we have them all over the place in downtown, at different pockets of the area developing into smaller communities, and they're spreading out south towards San Antonio. So San Antonio is getting hit now with the influx. It's so sad. It's really
Agreed.
sad. The land is leaving. The land is leaving. So yeah, I'm a Texan. I don't know why I just didn't answer the question. Yes, I'm a Texan.
Okay.
And I agree with you, Athena, and I'm from California, so
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Y'all are coming. Y'all coming with a vengeance.
it's been crazy. It's been crazy in California to see how many people have left the state, just ditching it outright.
Yeah. But I wish they would leave the political ideology behind.
Right.
And messing stuff up out here. We're Texans. We do
Mhm.
things differently at a different speed. For
Mhm.
different
No, I totally agree.
Yeah, the
Do you
city
think,
government is changing.
if you are like in a group of people, like at a party or a gathering or something like that, can you tell the people that aren't from Texas?
Yes, we call them transplants, Texas transplants, and they really, the ones that come, you can tell from the dialect. There's like a little speech inflection because I have a draw. When I'm tired, I have an East Texas drawl, and then you
Okay.
have a lower rate of speaking. Anybody that's not from here, they speak faster, and they kind of dart around like somebody's going to steal their purse or wallet, And we kind
One
of we hug out here,
mhm. One thing I had never noticed, and someone from Texas told me, was we had the to a lot of sentences from California. So we'll say the interstate instead of just getting on interstate, whatever.
Yeah, it's stuff like
Oh,
that.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Little
And to
art.
me, if the the is not in there, it's not right. So it's kind of funny to have to think about, am I adding it in there on purpose for no reason? It's weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But once you get here, you're accepted. I mean, we don't treat people weird. Like I lived in Virginia for about 6 years, and I never felt like I fitted in. I was just too different. And even the people that I can understand what they were saying, like, what, say that again? It was a lot of that. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was weird. And I was so glad to be back home. I've been back home 10 years now.
Nice.
I'm so glad to be back. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. So, Daniel, you're from California.
From California, moved to Colorado Springs. Again, trying to escape the state of California, and then also still looking for employment options. I'm wanting to be a wildland firefighter, and so I wanted to choose a state that still had a good wildland program while also being out of California, because all the wildfires are in California for the most part. So it's kind of weird trying to find a market elsewhere.
Yeah. You know, it's funny.
But
I have one follower. I call him L from Utah, and he's a firefighter. Yeah.
But it's weird too, because I'm coming from an IT background. So it's been hard to try and get into wildland because I don't have outdoor experience per se.
Yeah. Well, you went from a completely cerebral kind of work to doing something completely different. I mean, they are so different from one another.
I always wanted to serve, and so I viewed that as an opportunity. I said I wasn't going to join the military as soon as I married my wife. And I did want to do something intellectual, and I didn't want to be behind a desk. After doing that for 3 years, I can't do it anymore. So the goal is wildland firefighting. I have a trail maintenance job, hopefully lined up for this summer, taking EMT courses, doing everything I can to try and get into the field.
Cool. Very cool. Definitely cool.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, it's time for my bedtime. And I am, let's see, for me, it's 10 after 9 right now. So this is like midnight for me. It feels like midnight to me. So anyways, thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. All of your voices are important. What you think, what you say, I respect. And I'm glad we could have an open forum. And it's awesome to get to know all of you guys. And I look forward to more of it in the future. And keep your eye out for more of these talk radio nights. So good night, everybody.
Good night.
Sounds good, George. Good night.